Alright YouTube, Sports Vlogs 98 here. I haven't made a video in quite some time, but um, first part of my channel that I was trying to do is I was trying to do some sports vlogs and incorporate a gaming aspect to it, but I just simply don't have time for the gaming aspect, but something I do have time for is the sports vlogs. So I want to keep those. So today's June 1st. And I just want to do like a baseball update video. Probably what I'm going to do in this one is go through the standings and see where I feel like each team stands. And then maybe in a later video I want to fill out an all-star game ballot. So we'll do that. I know the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals are both this week too. Probably try and do something with that. Okay, so first division that we'll start off with is the AL East, with the Boston Red Sox leading it at 32-21. I'm a Red Sox fan, so I've seen a lot of the Red Sox games. The Red Sox, I believe they should make the playoffs, whether as the division leader or as a wild card. They sit at 32-21 right now. They're 2 games up on the second place Orioles. Things that concern me with the Red Sox is obviously not their offense. Last night they lost a game to Baltimore 13-9. It's more of the pitching, and the starting pitching has been good this year. Stephen Wright has pitched really well, probably a lot better than a lot of people expected. David Price seems to have found himself again after fixing his mechanical issues. So if he can stay on that path, he should be fine. Porcello has actually pitched pretty well, and so that was good to see. It's the 4-5 starter range that really concerns me. Eduardo Rodriguez just got off the DL. That's a big add to the rotation, and moving Buckles to the bullpen is a good idea to try and boost Buckles' confidence again. So maybe he can sneak in as that 5th starter. Joe Kelly just was sent down to AAA. Joe Kelly is like streaky. Like, he had that good start coming off the DL against Cleveland, I believe, and that was really helpful, but his ERA is a little up, and he's gotten lucky with a few no decisions. So I think Joe Kelly needs to go to the bullpen too, because I think one of the bigger problems with the Red Sox is their bullpen. Craig Kimbrell is obviously a good closer, but he's not as good as he has been. He's 12 of 14 at this point in the year, and I think that his velocity is down a little bit, and it's caused him to have to work. He's being hit harder, is what I should say. So the bullpen is another concern for Boston. Baltimore is in a similar position. Baltimore is actually 3-7 in their last 10, so they're on a little bit of a cold streak right now, and that's why Boston was able to slide into that first slot. The biggest problem with Baltimore also, I would say, is their starting pitching. Their bullpen's fine with O'Day, but their starting pitching, like Ubaldo Jimenez and people of like that, are kind of pushing the team down. Right, another one. They're not where that pitching needs to be. If they get out a pitcher before the trade deadline, that would be really big for Baltimore. In third place is Toronto, who's 8-2 in their last 10, and that's the only reason they're in third place. Toronto's offense is kind of streaky. They haven't been playing as well as they can play, and I think that's why they sit at 29-26 and not at the top of the division. 4 games out by no means is not overcomable, but they'll be up there when the season's over if they can get their pitching together. I feel like the AL East is a very weak pitching division. Then in 4th is the Yankees at 24-28. They're 7.5 out. The Yankees, another one. They can't get their offense to go. They can't get their pitching to go besides Tanaka. They obviously have the great bullpen of Miller, Chapman, and Betances, but they haven't had the opportunity to show what they can do because the Yankees aren't leading in a lot of games. Their offense can't manufacture runs that well. And Tampa is the bottom at 22 and 29. Tampa's another one that nobody really sticks out in that team as like a leader, like one of their best players. And I think that's a problem. Their pitching also is a little bit of a problem. It can keep them in ball games, but it's not good enough to win this division. So who do I think will make the playoffs right now from the AL East? I still like the Toronto Blue Jays and Boston to come out of the East. Baltimore, I think, started off hot, but like I said, they're 3 of their last 7. So moving on to the Central Division, the Kansas City Royals sit at top at 30 and 22, with they're obviously they're 8 and 2 in their last 10 is what I wanted to say. Kansas City started off real slow, but they're getting hot. They have a few injuries right now with Moustakas and Gordon and Salvador Perez, but they've seemed to overcome them well, and I think they'll be fine. They're a good team, defending World Series champions. Surprise team in that Central is definitely the second place White Sox, only 2 games back of the Royals. I like what the White Sox are doing this year. They're manufacturing runs well. They're pitching. Obviously, Sale is filthy, but you're getting a lot of innings from Jose Quintana and Matt Latos, who are 2 players that were known as rather inconsistent, who are putting together good seasons. So that's good to see for Chicago fans. In third place are the Cleveland Indians at 27 and 24. The Cleveland Indians I don't think have enough to get to the playoffs. I think they're always going to be that 3rd, 4th place team. I just don't think they have that drive, what it takes to get there. Their pitching is okay. Kluber's not the Cy Young that he was, but they do have nice young pitchers with Carrasco and Salazar. And Marlon Byrd just got suspended for 162 games, probably going to force him into retirement. So that's going to push Cleveland back a little more. In 4th place is Detroit, which is kind of surprising, 25 and 27. Detroit just can't seem to put a game, like a full effort together. It's either their offense or their pitching. One of them's off every day. And just when you think they're about to get hot, when that series with the Phillies, they play really well. They go out and they drop 2 of 3 to Oakland. So they're another inconsistent team that I don't think this is their division this year. I think it's Kansas City and the White Sox that are going to be battling it out. And in last place are the Twins, who everybody thought they were on the right track after last season, but they're significantly under. What's the word I want? They're significantly under their standards. They're not where they want to be, and they're underperforming is what I wanted to say at 15 and 37. I think last year might have been a fluke. We'll see how they bounce back next year, but together as a roster, you can see why they are where they are in the division. Maybe a little better than 15 and 37, but. And then we'll go to the AL West, where the Texas Rangers have a 31 and 22 record, and they lead the division by half a game over the Seattle Mariners. Texas, I think, will be in the playoffs. They look really good this year. Pitching is good. You got Darvish back, so now you're gonna have Hamels, Darvish, Lewis. All good pitchers in that rotation, and that's key to get out of that division. I like their offense. I like where they're headed. They're a good baseball team. They'll make some noise. Yeah. And then in second place is the Seattle Mariners, half a game back at 30 and 22, who I think Seattle, this is the year, since the first year that they got Cano, that they were able to put together a good roster that's going to be able to compete. I feel like last year they didn't have the drive to be that team in the AL West, and I think that held them back a little bit. In third place are the 25 and 29 Astros, who, like the Twins, everybody thought they were headed in the right direction after last season. But I think the Astros will eventually put it together, and they'll make a run for a wild card spot, or maybe even the AL West. They're only 6.5 out right now, but it is early. This is my June video. They've got Keuchel's underperforming right now. That's a big issue, and sometimes their offense can go cold. Obviously, Altuve, Correa are good pieces, but the people around them don't always perform consistently. Correa is a good player, but he's kind of down right now. And I mean, I know it's only his second year; he'll become something. But yeah, tied for them actually for third is the Oakland Athletics, who maybe are a little overperforming, but especially without Sonny Gray not being where he is. Oakland is 6-4 in their last 10. They also 6.5 back. I don't see Oakland sustaining this level of play. I think they will ultimately finish in last in the AL West this year, but it's good to see that they're performing above standard, and that's good for Oakland because they're like a half rebuilding team. And I like the trade that they did to get Chris Davis this offseason. I think that he's like a good piece to build around. He's on the come up. He's a good star, good young star. And in last place are the LA Angels at 24-29. The same issue with Houston. Trout and Pujols are always going to be good bats, but you just don't have enough to surround them. They need to add a bat or two at the trade deadline if they want to make any noise this season. Well, they could actually be sellers too. So now we're going to head over to the National League, where in the NL East, the Nationals sit atop at 33-21 with a 3-game lead over the New York Mets. The Nationals, with Dusty Baker as manager, seem like a really more focused team, and that's huge for them. And I think that they will win the NL East this year. They're a good baseball team. They've got it all going right now: offense, pitching. I like the Nationals roster build. In second place is the Mets at 29-23. They're 3 games back of the Nationals. The Mets definitely, I think, could also make the playoffs, and I think they will as a wild card, or maybe even the division leader if they can overcome the Nationals like they did last season. Harvey's going to start producing, and you may want to add another bat at the trade deadline if you can, especially Lucas Duda going to be out for a little bit. So in third place are the Miami Marlins at 28-25. They're going to be like a third place team for now. I don't see them making the playoffs this year, but they're on the rise. Another off season, another trade here or there. They're like a few players away from being good. They're good, but they're a few players away from competing, is what I should say. And in fourth place are the Philadelphia Phillies at 26-27. They just dropped below 500 yesterday for the first time in a while. Philadelphia is significantly overperforming, but it's hope for their fans that these young players are playing really well. They just benched Ryan Howard for a few games. They're going to give him a mental break is what they're calling it. And I think that's the right thing to do. I think if you can ship Howard's contract or just release him, it actually helps your team more. They have a good prospect first baseman whose name is escaping me right now, but he's playing really well at the major league level, and I think you could put him in as your everyday first baseman and get Howard out of town. That gives you a little more money to work with in this offseason, get a player or two. The Phillies aren't far from competing. I like Velasquez. They'll be there. And then in fifth place are the Atlanta Braves at 16-36. This team's abysmal this year. They're awful. They're gonna stay in last place this year, and hopefully when they move, they're gonna have a little bit more of a competitive team. But you look at their roster building, you don't expect much from them. In the Central Division of the Chicago Cubs at 36-15, they will win this division. They are absolutely nasty this year. Lester, Arrieta, Hamill, they're all good pitchers. And their offense their lineup 1 to 9 is like is probably the best in the major leagues. This could be the Cubs' year. In second place is the Pittsburgh Pirates at 29-23, 7.5 back. By no means is 29-23 anything to laugh at. The Pirates will make the playoffs probably as a wild card, where they haven't had a lot of success, but I think they'll be in the playoffs. They're a very good team. They're just not Chicago Cubs good, but they're only 7.5 back. And if you get a slide in the Cubs, Hayward's down right now. I think Hamill went down the other day. So the Pittsburgh Pirates could make some noise if the Cubs regress a little bit, but I think the Pirates will be in the playoffs either way. I don't see St. Louis making it this year. They sit at 28-26 right now. They just don't have the pieces to compete with Pittsburgh and Chicago, I think, in the long run. 4 is the Milwaukee Brewers at 24-29. Another team that is kind of rebuilding their roster a little bit. I think Lucroy will be dealt at the trade deadline, but Milwaukee, like the Phillies, are headed in the right direction again, and I think that's good for their franchise. Um, Maybe even Ryan Braun get out at the trade deadline too. That gives you a little more salary. And in fifth are the Cincinnati Reds, similar to the Atlanta Braves. You look at their roster, you don't expect much from them. It's like a minor league team out there. They're not. They have pieces that are headed in the right direction, but I just think they're still a few years away from competing, and I think you can see them in fifth place for a little while to come. And first place in the NL West, the San Francisco Giants, who sit at 33-22. The San Francisco Giants look really good this year with Samardzija, Baumgartner, Cueto. Their offense is putting it together. I don't think they're gonna lose the NL West this year. I think they'll finish in first, but they look really good right now. Good for Giants fans. In second place are the LA Dodgers at 28-26. They sit 4.5 back of the Giants. The Dodgers are by no means a bad team. I don't think anybody's saying that, but they're a little bit underproducing right now, and I think that in order to try and keep pace with the Giants, they're gonna have to pick it up a little bit. So, especially too for the Dodgers, they'll probably be fighting with the Mets, the Nationals, the Pirates, like those group of teams for a wild card spot. Because I think the Giants are gonna win the division, so they're gonna have to, they're gonna have to play baseball when it matters, and we'll see how they do with that. Their rotation's a little weak after Kershaw. That's one of my big concerns. They did just call up Julio Urias, so if he is only 19, but if he can put together something for you, it's better than nothing. In third is the Colorado Rockies, sitting at 24-28. They're 7.5 back of the Giants. The Rockies probably won't make a lot of noise this season, but they're headed in the right direction for sure. I like their roster: Arenado, Story, Cargo. I don't think you can't trade Cargo. He's really more valuable than you think. They need pitching, although Tyler Chatwood looks really good right now. In fourth place are the Arizona Diamondbacks at 23-32. Diamondbacks look like they should be a good team, and I think they will be. I just don't think they're there yet. They're still waiting. Maybe another season, I think this Diamondbacks team could really compete. It's a good roster. And then sitting in last is the San Diego Padres at 21-33. Significantly not where they want that team to be. Significantly underperforming. I'm a little worried about the Padres. They have a lot of holes in their lineup, a lot of holes in their pitching rotation. James Shields is just a salary cap hit. And if Cashner and Tyson Ross don't pitch well, then this team just doesn't succeed. That's what it boils down to. So those are my MLB standings updates and predictions for this season through June 1st. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm definitely going to be coming out with more sports vlogs videos, like I said. These are easier to make. I have more time to make these. I'm out of school now. So yeah, make sure you like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.